Backstage with Mothership on Solid Rock Radio begins now. Hear the best in new music, artist interviews, stories from the road, and more. You are now backstage, and here's your host, Mothership.
Well, hey, everybody. This is a first. I recorded this interview in my van with Matt Baird and J.R. Bareis of Spoken in Port St. Joe, Florida. You're about to hear the story behind the kimono and the lighthouse that had just happened before the interview. For that and for so much more, stay tuned throughout the hour. So I have Matt Baird and J.R. Bareis in my car right now, and we're at, where are we?
Port St. John, Florida.
I think it's Joe.
Yes,
Port St. Joe.
Fort? It's Port.
Fort Johns.
It's Port St. Joe, Florida.
Long Johnson.
I'm looking for a sign that says Port. It's Port. It's by the ocean. Port.
yes. And
Seashore.
And there is a lighthouse over here.
That is true.
And who just ran up that lighthouse?
That'd be me.
Did you realize it was going to be that far away?
No, it's very deceiving. As I kept going towards it, I'm like, man, this is far. It's like a mirage. I was like,
I noticed you slowing down a little bit.
Yeah, I was like, all right, I'm going to throw up. I kept running. So I walked a little, and then I got to the steps, and there's like a chain to not go up the steps. And I stood there. I'm like, do I do it? And then I did it. And then I didn't even realize till after, there's police here. So I was just ready to get hauled off.
There's several police cars.
But they were like, cool. So
I've edited this into the interview because it's too good not to mention. As the tour was loading out at the end of the show, a police car pulled up about 20 feet from where Matt and I were talking. I got this idea and urged Matt to go tell JR that the police officer would like to talk to him. So we walked over to JR, and Matt very seriously told him the policeman wanted to speak with him about the lighthouse incident. The color completely drained out of JR's face, and we turned to walk toward the police car. Matt could not stop laughing, and it gave us away. JR started laughing too, and he's like, you're lying. It was just a little payback for JR's shenanigans. Yes, I am the proud instigator of that stunt, but I thought you'd like to know, as they say, the rest of the story. Okay, so if you haven't figured this out yet, JR ran halfway up a lighthouse in the middle of a show, and how in the world did your wireless do that?
I mean, my guitar wireless somehow worked. That's the longest I've gone with it. And then the only thing that was cutting out was the in-ear wireless. Yeah. But I think it's because, they don't have those antennas like I got.
Oh, that's true.
So, but I found a spot up there. Finally, I was moving around. I was like, oh, please come back. And then finally I found a spot, and I just had to hold it so I could hear. And I was like a whole measure behind because the slapback, the sound travels. And so I was like a whole measure behind from them when I was just listening, just from the sound outside. So, but it worked out.
What were your thoughts, Mr. Baird?
I knew that it was going to be dress-up night because of Blaise asking me about if he could wear a certain shirt that he bought at a truck stop last night. I'm like, that's fine, whatever. And then I'm like, might as well have Weston wear a dumb shirt. So I'm like, hey, Weston, you can wear that shirt with the cactus on it tonight if you want. He's like, really? Which is not what he wore. I don't know what he wore. It was very flowery. And I knew that JR would be purchasing something because someone said, I think you said he went to Goodwill.
Yes, he went to Goodwill.
And I knew that it would be something unreal. And I did not look at him until our intro started. And then I saw a red kimono.
And I wanted to surprise you.
And
I know.
You did.
I know. I didn't see you for a while, so I figured you were hiding.
But the reason is it was very, it's actually not that hot out, but it's just, really humid, and it sucks wearing jeans,
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I just don't want to wear pants today. And so I was going to get just, shorts and, a dumb, Hawaiian shirt like the rest of them did, which I found, and then literally from across the Goodwill, my eyes just set on this. I was like,
it was calling you.
What is that? So I went over there and it was nice, it was drafty, and it kept me cool, and it was perfect.
The kimono is not a no-no.
Oh, wonderful. First of all, I'd like to point out that I did call it. When he got back from Goodwill, I asked him if he bought a dress, and he told me I had to wait and see. Also, I thought you were going to head to the ocean.
I just keep walking into the water.
No, that is what was on my brain. And then I saw you going up the stairs. I went, oh, thank goodness he's just going up to the top of a lighthouse.
Thankfully, dude, coming down those stairs, because I was still playing, it's really steep. So I was like, Lord, please don't let me just biff it. I'm an idiot. So.
You didn't need to fall to look like that.
I love you.
Great story. So how has this tour been going for you guys?
It's been good. Only a couple breakdowns. Alternator went out one night on a 2-lane mountainous North Carolina road at midnight. And so we had one bar of service so we could actually make a call. So that was a plus.
That's crazy.
So the next morning, someone came and gave us a ride to an auto parts store. We got an alternator and a new battery, put it in, and took off. Made it to our show. Mm-hmm. And then today on the way here to Port St. Joe, Florida, we had a blowout on the interstate.
Oh, no, I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah, that's why my hands look like I work in a garage. Because I changed the tire on the side of the interstate. And because it's Florida, I could say a lot of things because it's Florida, but the ground was not solid. And so the jack kept sinking into the sand. That was awesome.
Yes, bands have a lot more kinds of breakdowns than just on the stage, right?
Yeah, yes. That's clever.
That's good, yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
That's good.
All right, what does it feel like to be finally back on the road after the pandemic?
To be able to tour, like on an actual tour with multiple bands has been great. It's hard to believe that 2+ years has gone by. You know, I mean, we still did stuff. We did our acoustic tour back in November. We did random spoken shows scattered, but to be able to actually tour again it's cool. It's great to be able to go to you're heading to a different state every day. It's good. It's not like a 3-day weekend, you know, and so often it costs so much money to do just like 3 or 4 shows. We're able to do 3.5 weeks in a row. So it's been really cool, except for gas prices.
Yeah, bad timing.
Bad timing. Yeah.
After this tour, what does the rest of the year look like for you, Matt? And then we're going to ask JR because he's got other things going too. Yeah,
it's our year is scattered. We have an acoustic show coming up at the end of this, right after this tour. And those have been really cool. They've gone well. They're fun. But we have another festival that we're doing in Huntington, Arkansas, this month. And then June is kind of scattered. We had some stuff have to be moved around a little bit, like with a cancellation. So that changed another show. That it didn't make sense to do that show because of the cancellation. But I've got a lot of acoustic stuff that I'm trying to do in June. We have like a 12 to 14 day tour as a spoken tour in July, starting in Montana and going across. At this point, it'll end in New Jersey. And then random stuff, Soulfest in August. And we're talking about another tour coming up in October. So
okay. Yeah. JR, what have you got in addition to your spoken schedule?
Other than spoken, I mean, probably a lot of studio stuff from home, working with different bands. And I do a lot of stuff with Joe, as you know. We do a lot of projects together. So
Joe Rickard,
yes. The infamous Joseph
Everybody's
Rickard.
Supposed to know that. You say Joe.
The Joe. No.
Joe.
But yeah, that, and then do, like, when I'm home, I do a lot of stuff at church, like worship stuff, and like we're doing a camp in June and stuff, so part of that and whatnot. So between all that, you know, stay pretty busy. And then spoken, of course, you know. So yeah.
And whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay, Seventh Day Slumber's playing, so if y'all hear that in the background, sorry.
Backstage with Mothership returns after this.
Miller Express LLC is a Solid Rock Radio business ministry partner specializing in delivery, setup, and relocation of storage buildings. More info by calling 803-300-7594.
New music in the works.
Yeah, I mean, I think the last count was 16 songs, or something like that. Does that sound right? Am I making that number up?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Around 16 songs that are in a good spot. We'll end up retracking everything some of them might not make the cut. But right now, yes, new music we're playing. 2 new songs on this trip?
Yeah.
So we're playing 2 new songs on this trip. Some older stuff, but we're hoping to kind of mix more new stuff in as we get closer to actually putting a record out.
Yeah. Now, I can't remember the name of the song. One of the new songs, it was a little bit different.
I would say
Awaken Me?
Hourglass, probably.
I mean, I
it's
guess
pretty
they're
different.
both different.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit where the style is going and what's happening.
I don't know. I don't know if we know where the style is going.
It's just where you went.
There's like it's kind of a, JR sent the music to Hourglass, and it's circus is the only thing that comes to my mind. Like there's like really weird guitar stuff in it that kind of sounds like a circus, but it's very aggressive too.
Yeah.
He always talks about how you hear this music right here. That's what's going on in my head all the time. Like, so I imagine that's what was just in his head.
Yeah. Heavy circus.
Heavy circus.
Yeah.
It was a heavy metal circus.
Was that the same voice in your head that told you to climb to the top of the lighthouse?
Yeah. I didn't know the chain was there. I didn't know that he was trespassing.
It's true. There's no sign though, just a chain.
Yeah.
So what did I do with that? You know?
Breaking chains, man.
Just breaking chain. Breaking.
Yeah. The light tower, you know.
It's all
My lighthouse.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know.
You're a chain breaker, JR.
That's right.
There's a lot of good things tonight.
Ocean.
I like what I did.
The sands of the ocean.
You like what I was
seashore.
A new
All
song.
that you're doing,
There's a
man.
new song going on here.
Yeah.
It's like every worship lyric
You
ever.
are my strong tower. I just wrote
Yeah.
that. It's good. We should use that.
It's really good.
I thought of it.
The ocean floor.
I'm diving in.
Oceans.
I'm going deep.
Yep. A lot of symbolism.
Oh, man.
Oh, okay. New merch. Is anything going to be coming up in new merch? Because you're a little light this trip.
Well, yeah, we have new merch on order. In the beginning, it was going to show up yesterday, but then it got moved to showing up in Oklahoma in a few days.
Okay.
We tend to roll with like one design.
Yeah. I don't...
There's nothing wrong with that.
It's hard to go home with inventory and it just sit. Like,
Right.
That's not
Doesn't make sense.
cost effective for us. I know a lot of people go home with $5,000 in merch that sits in a trailer, and things are still a little weird with being unsure of what tours are going to happen, what tours are not. Yeah. So I'd rather reorder and go home with near nothing than like stuff that we're just sitting on. Debt's not a good thing for merch.
Sometimes you give people too many options too, and then they're like, eh.
Yeah.
Just give them one thing. Like, oh.
Yeah, like, oh, that's all you have? Yes, that's it. Okay.
Okay, I'll take one of those.
Or they're like, we'll come back after the show. We can't decide. And we might be gone.
And then you never see them again.
And you miss out.
Yeah. Everyone else on this tour has like 6 designs minimum.
Yeah,
minimum.
Blowing away right now.
Yep, it's really windy.
Yeah, we have
They're dancing.
1 design, and
you don't have my
fine.
size.
I know. Yeah, I think today we have
Which is
small.
a good. I mean, it's a good thing though. I mean, you sold a bunch of them.
When we showed up, we had small, medium, and 3X, and now we have no 3X. So we sold them today. So we have small and medium.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
We sold like all those sizes though.
That's awesome.
crazy.
What's a good design? Who did that one?
I found it on a vector site online. I'm like, that's really cool.
Free vectors.
I wonder. I paid $15 for it. $15 for a design.
Well, that's worth it.
And then I sent it to Relentless, who does our t-shirts. I said, hey, can we do something with this? And they're like, man, that's a great design.
Yeah.
So they added Spoken to it and established 1996, made it bigger. That's
Boom,
it.
boom, boom. There it is. Full front.
Yep, it's a great shirt. If it's a different band, I'd wear it.
Come on, man.
You don't wear your own merch?
No.
I'm Metallica.
Not Metallica. Can't do it.
Metallica, but not Metallica.
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 Me likey.
You got any interesting stories besides what just happened to share from this tour?
From this tour?
Yeah. I mean, it could be inspirational too. It doesn't have to be a JR story.
I'm trying to think.
Any testimonies, anything that happened?
I mean, there's a guy that was at the show last night in Jacksonville that walked up and he said, "You guys have been my favorite band for so long." He was like, when Echoes of the Spirit Still Dwell came out, I picked up that record. I couldn't quit listening to it. And he just kept on, and he got every record after that, and he's been all about it. That was cool. There's a bummer thing because of a guy walked in literally right after our set. He walked around the corner to the merch. It was like, "Are you guys done?" And immediately I thought, it's like, well, we already played our set. We're not going to play another set. I'm like, "Did you just get here?" He's like, "Yeah, I just got here. It was a 3-hour drive."
Oh.
And he walked in. We're done. That was kind of a bummer, but he was still happy that he was there.
He got to talk to you.
I'm trying to think if there's anything. I mean, I think that there are little snippets of things that people say every night that have to do with songs, and sometimes people use that phrase, "This song saved my life," and I think that's hard to wrap your mind around. I don't doubt it at all. I mean, I know that music speaks to people, lyrics speak to people. But I think that's really cool, and
that's why you do what you do.
Yeah, I don't take it lightly when people say that stuff. It's just hard to remember every
instance of it.
Yeah. Because sometimes you're like, "You've never heard our band before. What are you talking about?"
Matt Baird, you drive everywhere all the time. You're always driving.
It's true.
Is this like the nature of the beast, or is it the fact that you just like driving?
I think in order to do what we do, or that I do on acoustic tours, I think you have to. Like, there are a lot of people that they hate being in a car, they hate driving, and I've been able to be pretty busy over the past, couple years, at least during COVID, because I'm willing to drive an unreal distance to go.
I've never seen anybody drive like you drive.
My wife's like, "You have a problem, like that you can sit there and drive for that long." And sometimes maybe I do black out. Maybe I don't even know where I'm at anymore. And I'm just driving. There are some times where there's a drive that you dread because of how far it is. But there are also drives that you're 10 hours in and then you start to dread it. You're like, I literally still have 6 hours. And most people would just pull over and give up. And I wouldn't blame them at all.
Just find them sitting on the side of the road.
Yeah, I was like, "What are you doing?"
In despair.
I quit. I just quit. I can't do it anymore. But there are some drives that are definitely, they're brutal. Yeah. And then you're worthless once you get to your destination.
Okay. Do you like to drive, JR?
I like driving, but he won't let me. So, I don't know. I mean, there's been a couple times he has. Like, when he's literally drove 3 days straight, and I'm like, "Dude, get in the bench seat and close your eyes and let me drive, because you need to sleep or you're going to die. You're going to have a brain aneurysm and die.
Something's going to happen." I know that I don't push myself too far. I know that when I get to a certain point, it's like, okay, pull over. And a lot of times I'll pull over, I'll sleep for 45 minutes, wake up, and then go.
Do you like have a quick wake up like that?
Yeah, I'll wake up and just turn the car on.
Okay. Yeah. So, I'm like that too. I'm like, if I have like a little cat nap, man, I'm like, boom, I'm good.
I'm not saying I wake up feeling great. It's not that. But I'm like, okay, at least your body thinks you did sleep, But there have been 2 times that I can remember where I'm like, okay, I need to sleep for a little bit, and I'll pull over, I'll turn whatever I'm driving, a rental car, the van, I'll turn it off, right, and I'll lean the seat back and I'll fall asleep. 2 times in all these years, I woke up thinking I was asleep, and I grabbed the wheel, I slammed on the brakes, like it was really scary.
It is frightening.
But then I realized, oh, cool. So then I started up and drive. I'm like, I don't want to do that again. But 2 times it's been that way. Luckily, I was in park.
Does he wake up happy, JR? He didn't wake up gripey?
Matt Baird is the easiest person to be on tour with. And I think that's probably why I joined the band.
That's saying a lot. Brian's higher maintenance, you would say?
Yeah. I have no shame in saying that. Heck yeah, he is.
Brian Head Welch is higher maintenance than Matt Baird.
I love him. But it's like a high maintenance that, like, I understand, and he's just funny and makes it, like, whatever. So it doesn't really bother me. But yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You're listening listening to Backstage with Mothership on Solid Rock Radio.
Matt, how have things changed since JR came on board this band? Be nice.
No, I have nothing other than nice to say. I never know. He's pretty steady. Like he's like he only gets a little loopy when he's hungry, but like he can't handle hunger, and he can't handle heat. Like those are the times where it's kind of he's not sure what to do, you know, and he does get a little loopy. But I think the reason that he thinks that when I wake up am I grumpy or whatever, like a lot of times I wake up I'm just quiet. I'm quiet. I have to
I don't think
whatever.
you're grumpy, though.
You don't?
No.
Thanks, man. Appreciate
You
it.
literally are just like the same no matter what. Whether you haven't slept for like 2 days or you just had the best sleep of your life. Like
Wow.
you're just consistent.
Consistent.
Yeah.
That's cool. Thanks, man.
All right, musically, how has things changed since JR came on board?
I think JR is a great songwriter. I think JR is a great performer. He's a great riff writer. He likes riffs, and I like riff rock.
Amen.
And the really cool thing,
How different is that from Riff Raff?
I think it's the same.
Okay.
I think it's the same.
He is a riff.
He's a riff. And so, cool thing about writing the record with JR is that he'll send me complete demos that have already been thought through. And we were talking about it the other day. It's demos that have already been thought through. Things have been cut out. They don't need to be there. He's already thought through all of it melodically, of things that could work, won't work. He's already gotten rid of it. He's already trimmed all that stuff off. So the demos that I get sound like a record. And so I'm like, okay, what do I do now to not mess this up? Like that's the thought each time. And so he's made the writing process a lot, it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to give him something to work with because, I mean, usually most bands, they'll write the music first and then the singer will just do their thing, so, but some people are great at doing this, but I've always struggled with like getting demos that just sound like garbage and like seeing the vision for it, I'm like, I'd rather learn how to make it sound awesome and make a really good sounding demo so I can see the vision of the song, like, oh, this is going to be sick, So I've just tried to learn as much as I can about, I guess, mixing in a sense and making it sound good. So, but yeah, I just want to give a good product, not be like, hey, check out this riff. And it sounds like I recorded it on like
Your cell phone?
on voice memos. So, yeah.
When writing songs for spoken, how different is it than writing for Love and Death? Or do you like write a song and say, hey, this is a spoken song, or this is a Love and Death song?
It's I think what's different is with Love and Death, it's like it's more of a collab because there's two other guys that play guitar as well. So like between me, Brian, and Jason, we were all throwing riffs and ideas off each other, as where like really with me and Matt, I just kind of like have the reins, it's kind of like I can do my thing, I can do what I want, and like if he thinks it sucks, I want him to tell me, but so far so good, but yeah, I guess I can kind of do my thing, and I think part of my sound is that Love and Death kind of sound, so there's hints of that in the new stuff, I think, but it's spoken. Like Matt's voice makes it unique, and me just, I guess, getting to do what I want, then to stay in like that confined sound of Love and Death. I guess like I can branch out and do other things if I want. So yeah. So it's a little different. But
how cool is it that he allows you to have that freedom?
It's awesome, but it's also like terrifying because I'm like, gosh, I hope this doesn't suck, or like, man, I really hope that like this is actually good and he's not just like saying that. But Matt is the most honest person. Like he'll tell you if you suck or like if you need...
I haven't had to tell him he sucked at anything.
I mean,
every night he's like, man, I'm sorry on that blah 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 part. I'm like, I have no clue what you're talking about.
But even like Matt is. I mean, the other day we did a VIP, and someone said they had a band, and they wanted just like tips. And Matt is a great person because he won't just like pat you on the back and say, "Oh, you're gonna be great," when it's really not that good. Like he'll tell you how it is, and but he'll give you like tips and ways to get better. Like a lot of people don't want to hear the truth about that. You know, they just want to be like, "Oh, that guy's mean," you know. But it's like we want people to be better, but it's gonna take like, you know, doing these things to get better. So, and Matt's really good about that. So, yeah.
I don't know. I wish that more people would have kind of taught us certain things early on, you know, so that it would have helped us save a lot of time. And so that's the thing, is like, I feel like there's such a shortage of young bands to tour, to, you know, grow up and play music, and there's not a lot of new bands. And I wish there were, because they need to be put through the ringer. They need to be taught.
Yeah. And
right now they don't exist, or people are not investing, you know, knowledge into them. And I don't want to be mean about it. I do want to be honest, but I always tell them, it's like, I would never tell you something I haven't had to learn myself the hard way, you know. Either you're taught or you learn these lessons. And I think each of us, if we're honest, we're learning lessons every day. And some of them are lessons we've learned and we're like, oh, I knew better. I knew better than that. And it could be any place in life, any topic.
If you could ask something from the fans, what would it be? What kind of encouragement do you need from them, or what do you need from your fans?
To come to a show. To come to a show and just hang out. I mean, we want to know them. I mean, we don't want to be just fans. I mean, there are some people that are crazy. I get it. But I mean, we want to know them. I know a lot of times people they're like, "Oh, I got to talk to whoever for 3 seconds. That was so cool." I'm like, why 3 seconds? Like, why wasn't it a conversation? Why didn't you get to know them, or why couldn't they get to know you? Because we all only let people know what we want them to know about us. That's it.
Yeah.
So I think just kind of not have the I'm a fan of this band mentality so much, but like, I want to get to know those guys. I love their music, but I want to get to know them. I want to be friends with them.
Yeah. I love the building relationship with your fans, because then they're all in. They know all about you. They know how to support you. I think it means a lot more to them when they get to know you.
Yeah. If we didn't have people coming to our shows, we'd have no reason to do it. I mean, we'd be playing a bunch of empty rooms, people that didn't make the decision to go to a show. Mm-hmm. And I think that bands need to be much more approachable. Like, they just need to hang out. That's it. I understand some situations are awkward and they're weird. Some are hot, some are cold, some whatever. And there are some people that you know to kind of stay distant from. Yes, that's any area of your life. There are people that are not good for you, you know, so steer clear. But prayer, for sure. Like, continue to pray for us for safety or whatever. Every time anyone buys a t-shirt, it helps us. Anytime someone, you know, like, hey man, how can we donate? Like that, what? That's awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved your gift card idea. Asking people to give a gift card that's in their wallet, that's been in there for 3 years, that they've never used. They have no idea how much is on it, and just give that as a love offering. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, it's a cool idea. Sometimes there's actually money on those gift cards. That's great.
It's like a little treasure hunt, isn't it?
Yeah. I love seeing a new one show up on the table. I'm like, oh wow, that's crazy. I didn't see that one.
Yeah, last night.
Yep.
Awesome.
You know who popped into my head? Chad Finner popped into my head because of how he loves your show. He has taken so many photos of so many bands over the years, and like, they're able to use those, like, people like content. Making content's like my least favorite thing that has anything to do with music. I'm like, I don't want to do that. But people that take photos and post them, it helps. Sometimes we do screenshot and use those pictures and we have no clue who took them. So we don't want to make anyone upset with that. But like, I mean, Tyler Byers on this trip has been taking photos every night.
Good ones, as usual.
Yeah. So it's like, you have these people that is that's part of their ministry, you know? It's like that's part of what they do. And that helps a lot. But I mean, anybody who shows up, drops a $5 bill in the tip box, like that helps, buys a t-shirt, or is encouraging, you know? But I think people showing up is really cool.
This was quite the experience. All three of us sweaty people squeezing in the back seat of my car to do this interview. Thanks, and
thank you for having air conditioning.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
Really good. Thank you.
There's no extra charge for that.
Yeah.
All right, and y'all have a great rest of your tour.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. Stay tuned for more great music and check out my blog page on the Solid Rock Radio website for my guests' social media links. If you've missed any of my past interviews, you can find them uploaded to podcast.solidrockradio.org. Have a wonderful week, and let's be kind to one another.